Leon here with the Songwriters Mentor. And I want to encourage you before I get started today to go and check out the Songwriters Mentor site. I'll put a link down below. Also to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell, whatever you need to do, all that stuff that they tell you to do. Now, if you look at me, you could probably tell I'm not a young man. And I'm not going to tell you my exact age, but let us say that I was born during the Eisenhower administration, and I started playing music when Nixon was president. Maybe even before that. Nope, yeah, Nixon was president at the time. Anyway, I've seen a lot of things come and go in the music world, as it were. And of course, like everybody, I now get to listen to a lot of great music via YouTube, just like you're watching this video. We're on YouTube. And I'm a big fan of reading reviews and comments about things. I don't even go to the movies that much, but I love to read movie reviews. And I love to read reviews about albums that I've purchased. I've even read a few reviews about my own work, and hopefully they're good. But one thing I've noticed, like what I did, I just grabbed my phone and at random, I put in the name of an artist that was really big when I was in high school. 1975, 74, around that time frame, early 70s, it was an Elton John world. Now, I feel a great affinity with Elton John because he's a piano player, I'm a piano player. He writes his songs with a lyric in front of him, and then he puts it to music. That's exactly the way I like to write songs too. And unfortunately, I don't have a Bernie Taupin, but I have had some great lyricists that I've had the privilege of working with, and we've come up with some good songs that way. But I just pulled up like the first Elton John song that came up, and it happened to be from his album Tumbleweed Connection. It was a song called Burn Down the Mission. Now, if you're old enough to remember that song, you know that it was a tremendously popular song. He used it in his early concerts, and he'd jam on it, and he'd play it for 15 minutes. People would go crazy. And you can do this with any artist from like the 60s and 70s. You can look up Rolling Stones. You can look up Led Zeppelin. You can look up anybody that's been around for a while and then read the comments. And it can be very interesting. But you get a lot of comments that are like this. I'm going to read this comment right off the YouTube site. Elton John, along with many other musicians of his era, had to work and work hard to achieve the success they earned. Well, of course they did. I mean, that goes without saying. Then this this commentator, he's just a plain old potato. He's a commentator. It's just from mastering musical instruments, learning theory, which Elton John did. He learned music theory. He mastered the keyboard. From mastering musical instruments, learning theory, the long, slow climb to success. All right, that's all very true. That's good. That's good commentary. But now look at the turn that this commentary takes. The writer goes on to say, in today's instant gratification society, it seems there is no patience for this any longer. That's a rather broad statement, isn't it? The result, it is rare to find any musician today of this caliber. Most of them, there are exceptions of course, are a dime a dozen and will be forgotten as quickly as they arrived. Well, here's another one. It's very short and to the point. They don't make songs like this anymore. Elton John has the voice. Let's see if I can find any others here. Well, nonetheless, if I were to continue down, I would find similar comments. And basically what it boils down to is like the old guy saying, hey, don't write them like that anymore. And, today's artists can't compare to the artists of yesterday. And my reaction to that is baloney. Today, of course, because of the advent of home recording, there's more music being put out. There's more albums being released. And that's great. And it's true, you're going to hear a lot of mediocre music, a lot of music that perhaps should have never been put out. But if you dig deep enough, you're going to find artists, musicians that are just as talented as the young Elton John. They're not the same. Music's going to be different, but it's going to be as worthwhile as what was being put out in the old days. You know, and funny enough, there are people of the generation previous to mine. I guess I qualify as a baby boomer. So I guess the generation before that is called the silent generation, and then the generation before that is the greatest generation. Well, they didn't have a lot of good things to say about the music from the 70s. They're like, oh, I miss Glenn Miller. I miss the big band era. I miss Sinatra and Dino and Dean Martin and all these guys. And the music today, it's just these kids, they don't know what good music is. So it's interesting. There's always folks out there that are bemoaning the decline of music. And my theory, well, it's not even my theory, my firm belief is that there's a lot of good music out there. I've had the privilege of working with artists who wrote some tremendously good material. Were they super famous? No. They, in a sense, flew under the radar, but they had their fans. They had people who knew what they did, appreciated what they did. They bought their CDs. They went to their shows. And many of those folks, I've had the privilege of recording them in my studio and producing their CDs. I got a whole rack of CDs that I've produced over the years. For these artists, many of them extremely talented people, a lot of meaningful things to say, a lot of great songs, and a lot of people have really appreciated what they've done. So there's still good music out there. You may have to dig a little bit harder to find it nowadays because there's so much. Admittedly, there's a lot of manufactured pop music written by the same few people that all sounds alike, and I don't have a whole lot of patience with it, although I will listen to it just to see what's going on out there. But I also enjoy discovering artists that are not necessarily super duper famous, but they are putting out some really, really good music. So I encourage you, don't get discouraged. And don't be one of those people my age that says, oh, they're not writing any more good songs and everything's crap out there. Ah. No, there's some good music out there. You just got to look for it. And one of the things I might do on this channel is help you find some of that good stuff. So stay tuned. I got more stuff I want to talk about. Thank you for watching. And once again, I encourage you to subscribe to the Songwriters Mentor channel. Check out the Songwriters Mentor site. I've got some free mentoring sessions on there that you can take advantage of, and some others that aren't readily accessible on the site but can easily be accessed if you contact me through the Songwriters Mentor site or private message me on Facebook. All right. Thank you very much.